Louis Largent here, coming up at midnight, a very special edition of 120 Minutes. To my right, David Bowie and Trent Reznor, secluded in a hotel room somewhere in Hartford as they begin their 6-week tour of America. Check us out at midnight. Good evening, folks. I'm Louis Largent, and welcome to MTV's 120 Minutes. Right now, we are in a hotel room in Hartford, Connecticut, the night before the big tour happens with David Bowie and 9 Inch Nails, with opening act Prick, I might add. And in just mere moments, you will this lovely, beautiful brown couch right here will be occupied by the two greats, and we'll be talking with them alone, together, separately, sometimes, you know, all throughout the evening, as well as playing new videos from Eve's Plum, also Jawbreaker, which is an excellent one you should stay around for. We'll be playing the new Bowie video, old 9 Inch Nails videos, and right now is the brand new one from Urge Overkill. They have a new album coming out called Exit the Dragon, which is obviously, I guess, the opposite of Enter the Dragon, which was a famous Bruce Lee movie back in, I think, in 1973 or something. This is The Break, brand new from Urge Overkill. And here we are in Hartford, Connecticut on 120 Minutes, here with David Bowie and Trent Reznor, who, unless you've been living in a cave or touring this fall, and in a completely a bizarre pairing in a way, but I guess it sort of makes sense. It was David Bowie's idea to do this, and Trent, what was it like for you to get the phone call from, I can only imagine somebody you, you know, respect, admire, enjoy his work?
Yeah, it was scary at first, but then, I mean, hi, it's David Bowie. And at first I didn't think it was, but then instantly you knew that it was.
What was the first thing you said to you? Hi, I want to tour, want to chat?
I wasn't even thinking at that point. I was just, you know, it's a weird feeling. I was a bit freaked out. But such a charming gentleman that I was instantly at ease. And he mentioned his idea of doing this tour, and of course, at that time, it was only, 3 shows or a couple cities. And it got me thinking about it, and then I realized that it would be something that it'd be a challenge to do, and I think then it would be a challenge to present the whole show in a unique way. So it's not just opening acts, headline act, but it's something that was a bit unusual that would make it make sense in a way.
I went in with trepidation because I'd been told, like, he just moved to this funeral home that he'd opened up as a recording studio, and I should call him there, and the usual, the apocryphal stories of the Sharon Tate house and all that, you know, and it's sort of, I went in with a sense of unease and
did you have, what did you think that did you have any idea of what he would be like as a person?
No, I really don't have preconceptions of what fellow artists are going to be like, because I know so much that I've read about myself that I'd never take that as being a gospel on what anybody's like. And I tend to take people at face value, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's working out pretty cool. It's very good.
When did you first come up with the idea? How long ago was it?
Only a few weeks ago. And the other thing about this show is that it's almost nothing about it is premeditated. I mean, it was put together really fast. We've just spent all our effort and actually working on the music that we really want to play. And it's that kind of show. I mean, the dynamic of it is really, in a way, muscular, and it's really stripped down. It's interesting show to look at, needless to say. It has to be, because it's a visual and an audio thing. But basically, the whole engine of the thing is about what we want to do as musical artists, and that's really cool. That's really good.
We're going to take a look at a video and enjoy more conversation with Trent Reznor and David Bowie, and watch The Carnage with Hurt. 9 Inch Nails. Back on 120 Minutes with David Bowie and Trent Reznor. Do you have any idea what the the audiences might be like as you go across America? Have you thought about it at all? You just set it up without thinking, and whatever's going to happen. I mean, is there going to be a Nine Inch Nails contingent and a Bowie contingent? They're both going to be there, or could you even fathom what you think it's going to be like?
I think there'll be
two eyes, medium height, men and women. Sorry, go on.
There'll probably be two different camps and some overlapping people in the middle. And again, the way we've kind of approached the show was that it flows, as a flow to it, that would, to some people, open up the connection that I think there is, that I think David thinks there is.
Was that was it part of your reason you went out, because you wanted to maybe enlighten some folks that might not otherwise be at a David Bowie show?
I don't know that was my... I mean, part of the challenge was me being in front of a different audience. I like being an opening act for change. I also like not having the burden of having to carry the show.
Yeah, you have.
So if it's bad, it's not my fault. I'm just the opening act.
Now the truth. For my part, I've always loved juxtapositions. I like taking two elements that seemingly don't supposedly work or wouldn't be considered as reference points to each other and putting them together. So it's kind of really manifesting that idea, well, actually, it really comes down to, we had this idea that if Trent could get his audience to sing, he'll go, now you sing this line, la la la, and then I say, now come on all you Bowie'ites, and they sing that part. But then we kind of, we got that together. But
sort of like George Michael and Elton John did it with
exactly,
Don't Let Us So Good on Me. You're like
thing.
on big, opposite ends of the spectrum, going like this.
A happy family sing-along kind of thing, we
now,
go for this time.
I gotta tell you, he rules live. Probably the best live act going.
Rulers all over the stage when he's on.
Yeah.
Big 12 inches.
Are you sort of? Have you thought about that? Is that sort of the
Thought about it? I haven't had a sleep for weeks.
I mean, it's going to be a tough act to follow,
Well,
David.
I thought what I do is drop anything that anybody knows that I do. Therefore, really give them something to ponder.
You're going to have lots of pyrotechnics and things like that.
Just the dwarves and the trapezes.
Right.
They really do look like they're on fire.
They do, don't they? They're fantastic. You wouldn't think that somebody that little could burn up so furiously.
More with David Bowie and Trent Reznor coming up. We continue in 120 minutes. Here is Garbage. We're back on 120 minutes. That was the Toadies. This is David Bowie. That is Trent Reznor. They are touring together this fall, just in case you didn't know. I got a question for both of you. You go first. What is your favorite Nine Inch Nails song and
Reptile.
why?
Reptile, because I think it's dangerously vulgar.
Your favorite David Bowie song and why?
There's just so many. See, it's not a fair question.
Favorite album?
2 mediocre records and an EP.
Oh,
300 fantastic.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I know so.
Probably Life on Mars off Hunky Dory.
And why is that?
Just, I don't know, just great song, well written.
Wow.
Do you remember? You've obviously seen him live perform many times.
I've never seen him.
You're kidding me.
perform.
Wow.
You're kidding me. Why is that? Have you just?
Wrong place at the wrong time. I guess I just was never able to.
When did you become familiar with his work? When did it start having an influence?
I think around the time of Scary Monsters was when I really. In fact, I know why it was, because I was in the Columbia Record Club at the time, and it got
really?
sent to me by accident because you didn't fill your form out and kept sending you stuff.
12 albums for
I
a
think
penny?
that's how it worked, and I got it. And
a record club, huh?
No, and that just made a huge impression on me. I thought it was just real. It frightened me, if that sounds kind of stupid to say, but it was real. It was so icy and so. I just found it real disturbing in a good way, and it tainted my life for the rest of my days. And then I retroactively went back. And
What were you listening to before that? Because that was in 1979, right?
Just 1980 actually came. Was the first.
I don't know, whatever you listen to when you Kiss.
Kiss.
Only Kiss.
Skinner.
No Skinner. I have to
Aerosmith?
draw the line. No Aerosmith.
No.
bad new wave. Well, that didn't really happen yet, did it?
So you've obviously seen Nine Inch Nails live before, have you?
I have now. No, but exactly the same story for me is that I've never been in the same place that they've been working. But I've seen the Woodstock piece, and I saw a couple of other live pieces on video, and by reputation I knew that they were really, really good, and somebody to really...
I heard they were contenders, you know. It was you, Trent. It was you getting us out here in Palookaville.
Good evening. We're going to call all the towns Palookaville on the tour we've decided.
Hello, Palookaville.
We'll have more with David Bowie and Trent Reznor as we continue here on 120 Minutes. With David Bowie and Trent Reznor. David, you're, can we say, 48?
We can say that, but it's not true. I'm actually 48 and a half.
What do you take? What do you do? He looks incredible. He looks better than you and I do. I mean, you know?
It's the enthusiasm I have for this project. It's taken years off me.
Has it really?
Yeah. After Thursday night, they'll all come back again, believe it. Yeah. The Dorian Gray kind of thing.
Are you vegetarian?
No.
Eat well? Sleep well?
No, I don't do any of that stuff.
Doesn't smoke?
No, I don't smoke.
No drinking?
Never.
No, not at all? No funny substances or anything like that?
No, real God.
Is that the key,
I
the
think
key
people
to the
look at you
foundation?
with suspicion if you haven't taken drugs in the last 30 years. But I did take an awful lot, if that's any good.
Well, if you hung around like the Rolling Stones camp and all that. How does Keith...
No, not really. I don't know them very well.
Oh, really? Never met him?
I think I saw photographs.
Okay. Can we talk about videos? Because you're both pretty influential in the video world. You have been, and have you seen
Yeah.
Closer? Which is
we're in the Whitkin school of video, I think.
Did you ever become familiar with his visual Trent, his visual presentation via his videos? Which did you go through the?
I always had a problem with videos in general because I think there's a danger of it tainting someone's impression of your music by giving a solid image that you can't shake that could be bad.
I think I agree to a certain extent, but there's something about a lot of the videos that are being made now as almost autonomous pieces, and I think, for instance, your video for Closer is a very good piece in itself. You know, I think there's some validation for the idea of videos at the moment because they're getting so good creatively. They're very good, and if you have enough intelligence to divorce the two, the music in its own state and the visual in its own state, they can both be quite rewarding in different ways, you know. But there's also been a lot of crap too.
Oh, yes, there certainly has, and we played a lot of it, let me tell you.
Really? I didn't know that.
Well, anyway, I guess thank you for coming by. He is so excited, both of you, you know, must be really looking forward to the
Yeah, really up for it.
And go get them Tigers.
All right, then.
All right.
If we have to.
Okay. Sans Trent Reznor, so we can talk about the new album. You seem genuinely excited about your new album, and probably, I can just gather, probably more than excited than you've been in quite a while.
Buoyant isn't the word. I mean, I had no trepidations at all when I first contacted Trent and his management organisation about the idea of doing the tour together. I'd read quite a few interviews where my name had come up in conjunction with influences that had been part of his musical makeup, and I just thought, well, I'll kind of grab the bull by the horns and see if he'd want to do this tour. And he'd just come off the road, I think, with quite an extensive tour of his own, and it's basically boiled down to if he didn't have to do more than 6 weeks, he would adore to do it. So we're just having a ball, because the first thing that we both thought would be so cool would be to work together. So we've worked a whole chunk of the show is us working together on mutually chosen songs. You know.
You sort of, maybe by choice, painted yourself into a corner when you did the Sound and Vision tour you have to hold true to your words. You can't play any of those, you know,
Yeah,
you can't play any of those hits.
It's really confusing. I've got to stop lying about things, and it's really hard.
Are you going to sneak any in, or are you going to hold true to your word, or shall they find
Changing
out?
my name to George Washington. So, chopping down cherry trees, which I did. My cherry tree came down. Not my cherry, but my cherry tree in 1990. And that, for me, really is the last time that I'll entertain the notion of doing those songs. Yeah.
So, but you'll go more sort of maybe deep into, like...
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, a lot of the
Don't
things,
expect to come hearing Let's Dance, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, as you know, the single device is something to home in attention onto an album, generally. It's a promotional vehicle. And a lot of those songs in the so-called Great Hits show were single promotional devices. I think that there's a lot of material on my albums that I've really enjoyed over the years. But because of what an audience generally expects to hear, a lot of those things got left behind. So really I'm sort of jumping in at the deep end and pulling out, I guess, what could be construed as more obscure songs, along with a great bunch of songs from the Outside album, which of course is not released yet. So, and I wear a tank top probably, and pick one of the best bands in America to work with me. Yeah, that's the ticket. So, I mean, anything for adventure. You know, it's. I'm only really, I feel virtually fulfilled only when things are very uneasy for me, when things seem as though they're a bit hazardous, and when I'm not comfortable, and when I'm in an area that I don't know really well. On the other hand, I mean, working with Trent has been a real good thing. I mean, he's a really good guy. He's very focused. He's got a lot going for him, and he's just great to collaborate with. It's been a joy, yeah.
We're going to come back after a break. We're going to play your new video and talk about your new album and such and everything going on. Coming up right after this here on 120 Minutes.
Poor dunce, he pushed at the big man, the Pope's lamb, the fool is dead.
Back at 120 Minutes with David Bowie. You have a new album out which nobody's heard yet.
Yeah.
It's a very, in layman's terms, as succinctly as you can you explain the album? It's a very sort of, there's a big story behind it. Succinctly, in layman's terms, if you can.
Yeah, it's pulling together all the real myths and all the synthetic myths of the late part of the 20th century. It works on the assumption that we're all undergoing some kind of revival of paganism. And in that act, there's some way that we have to appease gods in some way to get through to the 21st century. That's simple enough.
I don't know if that wasn't quite layman's terms, because I'm like, what?
Okay, that's one of the texts of it. The other part of it is that it's a series of murders that have been committed in a fictional town called New Oxford Town in New Jersey. And the purpose of these murders is to create new art. So it's murder for art's sake, which is a natural kind of extrapolation on the idea of the body being used as art, which it is being in the visual arts at the moment. So I moved it a bit further on.
Okay, now I understand that. Now this is obviously the first time you worked with Brian Eno in however long. Who made the first
79 was the last time that we worked together. He came to my wedding in 1992 with his wife, and we immediately, it's like we hadn't been not working all those years, and we immediately went straight back into, this is really what we want to do, is to work together again.
Did it click immediately?
Yeah, immediately. We both had exactly the same ideas on what we could be doing in music.
And this is part of a trilogy, which you tend to finish before the end of the decade.
And we seem to do our albums in bunches of 2 or 3, and this time we'd like to follow through and create a kind of a musical diary for the late 90s into the next century. That would be kind of a pipe dream. We'd like to.
Well, let's hope that any work he has on the U2 album doesn't take too long, and then it gets.
Well, we both
up.
have to. I mean, I've also got other ventures that I want to do in the studio. No, more studio albums with some not necessarily with Brian. So I think we both have such active working lives.
And this is all within the next 5 years. So you
Yeah.
plan on finishing this trilogy and then doing other albums.
Yeah, buy some more clothes. There's a lot. Life's full of things, you know.
Okay, we're going to watch your first video, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit.
Okay.
The Heart's Filthy Lesson, directed by Sam Baer, director of Smells Like Teen Spirit. And,
he's great. He's really good.
Here it is, 120 minutes. Back on 120 Minutes, I'm Louis Largent with David Bowie.
Yeah.
You have been such a, you were making videos, conceptual videos.
Before there were cameras.
Yeah, right. Before there was MTV, you know, it's.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think video has done to music recently? Is it something you are? Has it become way too out of hand? Is it a good tool? Is it? What do you think?
I was beginning to think that maybe in the 80s, but I think again in the 90s there's such a lot of really good creative work happening in videos now that I think they can be taken as autonomous pieces. The song and the piece of visual work that goes with it can be looked at separately, I think, with anybody with an iota of intelligence anyway. I think coming back to talented makers, I think Sam Baer is a tremendous
how did you choose him? Was there a particular...
I looked through showreels of a number of directors, and his stuff had a certain something that I kind of recognized in terms of he distressed everything. Everything looked a bit as though it's aged or unkempt, uncared for. And I got to meet him and found, of course, that naturally the untidiness comes from the fact that he used to be a painter. For 8 years he was a painter in New York. And he comes at it like it's a painting. And we both had a lot of the similar references for what we did in Heart's Filthy Lesson. My main kind of, the foundation for it was I have a friend in England called Damien Hirst, who's probably our leading artist at the moment, who cuts cows up and puts them in glass boxes. That's one of the things that he's known for.
Oh, that sounds great.
And sharks.
Yeah,
well, it's quite interesting work. And I really took the idea of what his workshop looks like when he's at work, but I kind of created that feel.
Do you plan on doing a lot more with him, without him? You're always good for...
Yeah, we've already talked about doing the next single together at least, and if we ever got the money together to try and do a long concept piece on the outside album, would be kind of nice to do. Whether that will come to anything, I don't know.
Well, you're going to be leaving us now. Thank you for talking to us here on 120 Minutes. Good luck. I don't know what's going to happen over the next 6 weeks, but it's...
I'll write about it.
Okay, all right. David Bowie here on 120 Minutes. And here is, speaking of great videos, here is Bjork with It's Oh So Quiet. That is the latest video from Shudder to Think, So Into You, here on 120 Minutes. I'm Louis Largent, here in a hotel room in Hartford, Connecticut. And we've been saying it's the David Bowie 9 Inch Nails tour, which is completely false. It's the David Bowie 9 Inch Nails Prick Tour. And here is Kevin McMahon, lead singer of said band. So you got the opening slot. Have you ever been to big shows and seen? It can be very difficult for the first band on stage. Do you have anything special prepared for the evening's events?
I just usually do my normal performance and hope that somebody's there to pay attention.
Did you ever
Get
see?
there early, please.
Did you ever see Prince open for the Rolling Stones?
Huh?
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
He was doing, and all the crowd was there. They were like into George Thorogood and Jay Giles, and they booed him off the stage, which I know is not going to happen to you.
It'll get signed.
They may boo, but I don't know if I'll leave the stage. Just stay out there.
So how far back do you guys go together? Because Kevin was telling me earlier, Trent, that your whole sound was patterned after something he was doing about 8 years ago. Is that true?
Yeah. No, I played in his band a long time ago in Cleveland, and we both lived there at one point. And I'd always.
Were you both playing the same kind of music? Were you both? Because the similarities are there. You can't deny you both the same sort of style of music.
I don't think at that time it was stylistically that similar, but what I appreciated in Kevin was I always thought he was a really good songwriter. Mm-hmm. And then as our paths separated, and when I was in his band, it was more of a one-off thing. Every once in a while we'd play. And then we just kept in touch, and then he moved out to the West Coast, and I was working on 9 Inch Nails stuff, and every once in a while I get a tape, and I finally...
got a tape for you.
Really? Okay.
It's a little
And
poppy.
I just thought it was really good, and we got together and worked on some stuff one time, and that was kind of the impetus of the birth of Prick.
Now, is it just in case I don't know if this is a fair thing to say. Nine Inch Nails is essentially you, no question about it, right? It's like it's you. Is Prick Kevin McMahon? Is it all you? And it's just like you could have interchangeable members. Do you basically compose and do all that? Are you the main man, the head honcho?
That's the name for now. You know.
Did you feel like you had to have a name? I'm saying, is it sort of the same sort of brainchild of you?
Well, I didn't want to say Kevin McMahon because I think that it is a kind of a collaborative thing that happens when you go into the studio and when you play live. And especially when Trent and I were in the studio, we were the band. So it became, we were Prick at the time. When I was in London with Warren, we were Prick. So
we're going to talk more and play your video in just a little bit, but first we're going to take a look at something that's actually really, really good. You should check it out. Dragon Lady from the Geraldine Fibbers here in 120 minutes.
I really don't know what to do. Seems like salvation comes only in dreams. I feel my hatred grow all the more extreme. Can this world really be as sad as it seems?
Back on 120 minutes, we're with Kevin McMahon, the lead singer of Prick, and Trent Reznor, the lead singer of Nine Inch Nails. So, Prick, is it the other meaning, a different way to describe? Is it a different way to describe a penis, or is it you're a prick? How did that name come about?
you gotta be kidding me.
Story. You know what? I don't usually ask the name question. I really, really don't. I swear, I stay away from that one. But
this one just
Prick
attracted you, didn't it?
You might get banned in certain radio stations, like in the Bible Belt. They might not play it because you're.
Well, they should read the Bible then, because the word is in the Bible.
Is it really? Are you serious?
It's a word. Prick your hearts.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking of I see my brain being in the gutter. I had a whole nother connotation for me. So anyway, for those of you who haven't heard the band, I thought before I ever met you, I thought you were English. You have sort of English sensibilities, maybe of like early '70s, sweet, maybe stuff like that. Comments, questions, anything?
I liked British music, the British early British invasion kind of stuff.
I hear that to a degree. Yeah.
A lot of the earlier stuff. So I think I started to sing thinking that was the only way to sing, because I can't sing normally. It's kind of an instrument that I
don't do well.
Well, I don't think so.
Oh, come on. He doesn't think he sings well either. And I'm sure...
I don't. But he's different.
What's different?
No, I think that... we're in, ass-kissing mode. But, I mean, honestly, I think that... I think the secret weapon of Prick is Kevin's voice. Because it has a degree of vulnerability that just doesn't...
Who sang in the band that you guys were? Of course. Because... There you go. Take a compliment, Kevin. Come on, man.
I'm taking it.
Artists, you know what? Is it not true that artists can never be objective about their own work a lot of times, you think?
Other than me, yeah. It's true.
Okay, we're going to lead to a cover of Tainted Love done by Gloria Jones, Mark Bowen's wife, made sort of famous in the 80s again by Soft Cell and sung by Shades Apart from Jersey on 120 Minutes. That was Animal from Prick. I'm sitting with the lead singer who is opening the David Bowie 9 Inch Nails Prick tour. And the video was called Animal. The song was, the video was a visual interpretation of that. Which, how can you describe that?
The video?
Yes.
Well,
animals and carcasses and vultures and kinds of wacky stuff in there.
Well, it's kind of the duality of, the animals and the humans that are dressed similarly. You know, how closely we sometimes come to letting the animal in us come out, and being caged in that kind of, this is sort of similar to it. You're caged environment,
in a hotel room,
are under the
doing a show for MTV
telescope,
in a hotel room in Connecticut. So Trent obviously made the phone call to you and said, "Hey, what are you doing the next 3 months? You want to come on tour?" Do you have any reservations about that? Did you immediately say, "I'm there, done"?
No reservations at all.
So,
I think it would be great. You know, I think that the audience that comes to see David Bowie and Nine Inch Nails would be a great audience for us. And I can't think of a better tour to be on.
You weren't doing anything anyway, were you?
It was exciting, I think.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
So good luck on the road. Good luck with everything, and
Thanks.
hope you enjoy yourself. And we are going to be back after this with more. Coming to you from the Music Meadows Theater in Hartford, Connecticut. This is 120 Minutes. I'm Louis Largent. We are living right around here. This is such a beautiful thing because tonight what they're doing is not just a sound check, but a complete run through. This is the night before the tour starts. David Bowie, Nine Inch Nails, and Parik. It's not too exciting right now, but throughout, it's going to get exciting. It's you can feel it in the air. It's a beautiful venue, and right now, watch Civ. Can't wait 1 minute more here on 120 Minutes.
Backwards inside of me, I feel so free.
It's 120 Minutes. I'm Louis Larchin. To my back, of course, it's Nine Inch Nails, and my little capsulated review of what you're going to see. Low down, dirty, and lean and mean for Nine Inch Nails. None of the big production that they had on their last tour. Sort of like when you saw them at Lollapalooza, is sort of what it's like. Right now, we're going to get into what is a growing trend of bald guys in suits who are singing in front of bands. Presidents of the United States of America have one. Civ, who we just saw, and right now it's Hagfish with Stamp. Eat While I Work on 120 Minutes. Hagfish, final video of the evening here in 120 Minutes, and that does it for us from Hartford. First stop on the Bowie, Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails Tour of America. And I got to tell you, if you're fans of David Bowie, come see it. Fans of Nine Inch Nails, come see it. And if you're fans of neither, come see it. It is an amazing, amazing spectacle. Next week on the show, Blind Melon will be here to host. And if you have any questions, actually, here's where you can send them via computer and et cetera, and maybe you can have them answered by the band next week on this very show. Save that time, save that channel. For 120 Minutes, I'm Louis Largent. Goodbye.
Something in our skies, something in our blood, something in our skies. Petty, who's been wearing around his clothes?